Hello everyone, this is Mohammed from Python Ninja YouTube channel, and today we will solve together random guess exercise in Python to practice random module. So in this exercise we have to write a Python program that accepts user input as an integer. Okay, so the user must input an integer and it will be compared with a generated number between 10 and 20. So the first thing we have to do is to generate number between 10 and 20 using a random module. Now, if the user input is greater than the random number that is generated randomly, then the message will inform the user that the number is too high, and conversely, if it's lower than, the message will inform the user that the number is too low. And if the number between 0 and between 10 and 20 is matched with the generated number randomly, then we show success message to the user. So what we can do, or how can we approach the solution? The first thing is to import random, okay, as the random module to generate the number. And I want to generate the number from random module, and we learn together how can we generate random integer, and that is between let us also define start, okay, use it 10 and the stop, and this stop will be, for example, 20, and I want to generate the number between start and the stop. Okay, this is the first thing to do, is to generate number between 10 and 20. The second thing is also to identify, because I want to show the user how many times he guesses to have the right solution. I want to take user, okay, guess, and this will be variable with 0, okay. And we learn together while loop, because the user will try to an infinite number of iteration till matching the generated number. Then we will break the loop. So we will use while loop because it will simulate or mimics the an infinite loop. So I can say while true, okay, then directly I will take user input, and this user input will be nothing but integer, that is it's input casted to integer, and I have to say enter your number or enter a number between. So let us note some functionality here and use start and stop. So I can say here between start, and I can add comma and stop. Yeah, so we add some functionality to the user input, and as long as the user will submit his or her input, I want to increase the user guess by 1. Okay, so this will be increased by 1 every time the user will send the input. Now, if the user input, okay, is lower than the number, which is this one that is randomly generated, then the message will show to the user that the number or user input, for example, is low. In this case is low, yes, so the user input, okay, is low, okay. And conversely, we use elif to add another condition. If the user input is greater than the randomly generated number, then the message will show to the user, and this message will be user input, okay, is high, okay, and we will use else in favor of the equally generated and equally input number between from the user and the randomly generated number. So I want to print the user, for example here, user input is match, okay. And finally I want to break the while loop because it is matched. I do not need to use while loop. And finally I can print this u, for example, it tried or you tried user guesses, okay, to match. Now, this is the logic, or this is the flow of the code. First of all, I imported random, then I did like identification to two fixed variables, two constant variables. Okay, later we will also highlight how can we identify constant using capital letter, but now take it as it. And we generated random number between start and stop, and we identified the user guess as a variable with 0. And here we went to an infinite loop, and we asked the user to input the number. Each time the user will input the number, we want to increase the guess by 1, and so this will be increased by 1. Now, if the user will send a number in lower than this generated number, then this message will appear, and if it will be greater, then another message will appear, and in case if it's not lower, it's not greater, meaning that it's equal, the message that will appear to show to the user that the number that is randomly generated and the number that inserted from his side is matched, and we break the whole while loop here, and we, because the user might be take like 5-6 times, so each time we increase this, finally I want to print to the user how many times like talk to match. So why we not run this program? Before running this program, I prefer usually to do in the user and the double column and the space. That will add much more beauty to the code. Now, because I added here that it should be lower, not lower and equal. So if I enter 10, it show is low. If I enter, for example, 11, it's low. If I enter 20, okay, is high. So 20 and up, it will be high. 10 and low, it will be low. And here we have, for example, 12. Okay, it's low. 13. It is also considered low, not as 18. It's high. 17. It's high. 19. It should be one of these numbers. So 14. Finally, it's matched. So I entered 14, and the randomly generated number is 14. It's matched, and after 11 input, if we count this, it will be 11. Then the both number are matched, and while loop has been break. So this is like exercise to practice a random number and together with while loop, and how can we randomly generate a number and match it with the user input. Say we can say like a small puzzle or game we can use employing random library. So that's for today's tutorial. Thank you, and see you next tutorial. We will practice also another example using random module